Hello everyone, my name is Miss Grinsell and today we'll be learning how to round numbers to the nearest 10, 100 and 1000. Now I'm very excited to get started with you today. You will need either a piece of paper or a whiteboard and something to write with. Let's get started. Now first, a little recap of what we spoke about in our previous maths lesson. Now we discussed that there were two teams of numbers. There was a team down and there was a team up. We knew that when we saw numbers from team down, the numbers 1, 2, 3, or 4, we would be rounding down to the nearest 10. And we knew that when we were dealing with the numbers 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, we would be rounding up to the nearest 10. Here's an example. If we were dealing with the number 61 and we wanted to round it to the nearest 10, we'd look next door in this ones column. We'd say that 1 is on team down, so we would be rounding down to the closest 10. So 61 sits between 60 and 70. If we plotted it on the number line, it would be here, which is definitely closest to 60. So like we said, team down, 61 gets rounded down to 60. Have a look at one more. Do this one with me actually as we go along. The number is 78. Because we're rounding to the nearest 10, we're looking next door at the ones column. We know that 8 is on team up. And we can see that evidence if we look. 78 sits between 70 and 80 on a number line. If I was to plot it, it would be here, which is definitely closest to 80, which means we're rounding up. Like we said, team up. So 78 rounded to the nearest 10 gets rounded up to 80. Now I have a fantastic tool for us to use today. It's a little rhyme for you to remember while you're rounding, and it can work for the nearest 10, the nearest 100, and the nearest 1000. So it says underline the digit and look next door. So if I'm going to round 76 to the nearest 10, I'm working with the tens column, so I need to underline the digit in the tens column and I need to look next door. If it's 5 or greater, add 1 more. Now if I look next door, 6 is greater than 5, which means that yes, I need to add 1 more. So my underlined digit, 1 more, 7 becomes 8. Okay. Then it says everything after is a 0, not more. Everything after is a 0, not more. So 76 gets rounded to 80. Have a look at this next example. 53 rounded to the nearest 10. I'm going to say my rhyme again to help me. Underline the digit, so I know I'm dealing with the tens column, so I underline the digit in the tens column, underline the digit and look next door. If it's 5 or greater, add 1 more. 3 is less than 5. Let me see what the next bit of the rhyme says. If it's less than 5, leave it for sure. So my 3 less than 5 means that my underlined digit stays the same. Everything else becomes a 0, no more. So 53 gets rounded to 50. I'd like you to have a go with the rhyme of rounding 24 to the nearest 10. Okay, I'll talk you through it. Underline the digit, look next door. If it's greater than 5, add 1 more. If it's less than 5, leave it for sure. Everything else becomes a 0, no more. You should have found that 24 gets rounded to 20. Now have a look how this can also apply when we're rounding hundreds. The number was 734. If I want to round it to the nearest 100, this rhyme can still help me. Underline the digit and look next door. Now, if I'm dealing with hundreds, I need to underline the digit in the hundreds column. Underline the digit, look next door. If it's greater than 5, add one more. No, 3 isn't greater than 5. If it's less than 5, leave it for sure. Great. 3 is less than 5, so I will leave my underlined digit the same. Everything else becomes a 0, not more. So 0 and 0. So 734 gets rounded down to 700. Okay, I want you to pause this video, have a look at this number, 546, rounded to the nearest hundred. Pause this video and have a go yourself. When you have an answer, press play again and watch me explain it with you. Underline the digit, look next door. If it's greater than 5, add one more. Well, 4 is not greater than 5, so I must leave it for sure. So this 5 underlined stays the same. Everything else becomes a 0, not more. Did you get the answer 500? 546 gets rounded down to 500. Let's do another one together. On your piece of paper or on your whiteboard, write down the number 781. I want you to round it to the closest hundred. Pause this video, have a go. Press play when you're ready to see my explanation. Underline the digit, look next door. If it's 5 or greater, add one more. Well, I see an 8 there, which is greater than 5, which means I need to add one more to my underlined digit. So 7 becomes 8. Everything after is a 0, not more. You should have found that 781 gets rounded to 800. All right, time to get a little trickier. Let's try and round to the nearest 1,000. My number was 7,659. I want to round to the nearest 1,000. First step is underline the digit and look next door. So I need to find my thousands column. I have my ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. Underline the digit and look next door. If it's 5 or greater, add one more. Well, 6 is definitely greater than 5, so I need to add one to my underlined number. 7 becomes 8. Everything after is a 0, not more. So I have 3 numbers after, which means I need to add 3 zeros. So 7,659 gets rounded to 8,000. Now the next few, I'd like you to pause the video, try them on your own, and then check back to mark them against my work. So try a 10, round 56 to the nearest 10. Try rounding 241 to the nearest 100. And try rounding 5,722 to the nearest 1,000. See how you go. So you should have found, if you're looking to round to the closest 10, you underline the digit in the tens column, look next door. It's greater than 5, so I'll add one more. Everything else becomes a 0, not more. If I'm rounding to the nearest 100, I underline the digit in the hundreds column, look next door. Is it greater than 5? No. Leave it for sure. Everything else becomes a 0, not more. So 241 gets rounded to 200. Oh, tricky one. See how you went with the 1,000. Underline the digit in the thousands column. Look next door. Is it greater than 5? Yes, it is. So I need to add one more. Everything else becomes a 0, not more. So 5,722 gets rounded to 6,000. Now, if you're stuck, go back and watch a little bit again to get this strategy down pat. When you're ready, come and see me because I have a really cool activity for you to try.